So have you ever heard that expression that perception is reality? Well, you can change your life by your own self-perception. And joining me today to talk about this is best-selling author and speaker Cathlene Miner. What's going on, Kathleen? Welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's so great to be here. I love Tampa. I always have. I'm a native Floridian, and
so welcome
Florida.
home in a way.
Right. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. And self-perception is something that not a lot of people talk about. And so what is self-perception?
Yeah, let's break it down.
Yeah, right? I mean, self-perception is what you think and feel about yourself.
Okay.
Right? So it's different than self-care. So what do you really think and feel about yourself? And that makes all the difference in the world. It dictates the chances you take, the choices that you make, and the relationships, both professional and personal, that you stay in. And then the ones that you get out of because you know that something's not right. It doesn't feel right. And I think that some people think it's not worth working on because they feel like they can't measure it. You can measure your weight. You can measure how much money you have in the bank. You can measure your stocks.
Success.
Right. But you can measure self-perception because when you have a healthy self-perception, you actually start to see things around you change. You start to feel differently about things and things start to flow. Like when you go into the parking lot and you get that first space or the phone call comes in. I mean, that all really starts with your self-perception. So when you wake up in the morning, for instance, if you go downstairs and you're just in that mood, you looked in the mirror and you're looking at yourself because people typically criticize themselves first. And they look in the mirror. When you go downstairs, everybody's not going to greet you with a, hey, how are you today? It's going to sort of be like, okay. And so you're doing that when you go out into the world every day. So there are little things that you can do in order to change your self-perception. And for me, I'm passionate about this because I myself had an amazing childhood, but when it comes to my teen years, I did not have a healthy self-perception. And that led to an eating disorder for me and so many other things. Because I was trying to compare myself to others, And so that's how I got started with helping others with their self-perception. I was a personal trainer for, it's been 27 years now, off and on. And I started training people from the inside out instead of just on the outside. And so that's kind of how this all spiraled into books and courses and dedicating it to a book specifically for teens.
Yes, I would say I specifically think this is great because you brought up your teen years as kind of a struggle. And I think that's sometimes when many of us are realizing, okay, things are, it's an awkward time. Let's just put it that way.
Well, it is. And, I started with it's called a women's book. We actually have a men's book coming out and things like that because there's ebbs and flows in our life. And I was a stay-at-home mom after I was a single mom of 2, and then I was a stay-at-home mom of 4 years later, and I totally lost myself again, I mean, it was just like, okay, wait a minute. And I started kind of going back to that same thinking as when I was a teenager because I didn't feel good about myself again anymore. And so that's when I started this, and then I started going back to my teenage years in my head. Okay, now let's start where the core of the issue started, at least for me, and what I see in so many teens. So I work closely with a lot of teens, and so that's how we got. And this is so all the teens, these are all teens. I partnered with a teen. I found an amazing teen. Her name is Taylor, and this is Taylor. And Taylor helped me with this book, along with other teens, like what goes on now in teenage lives. Yeah. Because it's so different than when I was a teenager.
Oh, I think a social network.
Right. Oh my gosh. So we talk about a lot. So this book, both of them, are set up in 30 days. So you do something every day. And so they're small sections. And it helps you incorporate journaling into your life, helps you incorporating taking time out for yourself, but in a real life way. Like, little tweaks that you can make every day that will actually make a huge impact. So
and of course you've got the method, you've got the books, you've got the info, but that's not all. You're also in closing. We only have a few seconds
Okay,
left.
so I have a nonprofit. It's called Hopeful Handbags. What we do is we take once loved handbags that women donate, we fill them with necessities, and we donate them to women getting back on their feet again due to domestic violence or other detrimental situations. And so it just raises hope. So we're doing it to raise hope. It also goes along with self-perception because we also help them with that. I mean, let's feel good about yourself again because your past does not just dictate your future.
And you know what? I like how vulnerable you are. I love the motivation behind it. If you want more information, of course, you can check out her website. So you can check out our website as well. There's your Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having you. Thank you.